In Module 3, we will study what may be the greatest civilization the world has ever seen, the Roman Empire. From its humble beginnings around 800 BC as a town in the Italian peninsula until its fall in 476 AD, Rome was the largest, most powerful, and sophisticated nation of its time. The excesses and cruelty of Rome are just as legendary as its cultural and military might. Rome's fortunes would rise and fall depending on who the emperor was and who they were fighting in war at the time. Late in its history, Christianity was birthed among the Jews who lived under Roman rule and eventually became the state religion. Around the time Rome was coming to prominence in 500 BC, the Ganges River region in India was likewise growing. A new religion, Buddhism, had emerged to challenge the Vedic priests' monopoly on spiritual matters. Today, Buddhism and Hinduism still compete for followers in the Indian subcontinent. The Gupta Empire reigned from 320 to 550 AD and is remembered as a time when great advances were made in art, medicine, and science. The scientist Aryabhata may have been the first person to determine that the Earth orbits the Sun. The development of human civilization in North and South America took a course which mirrored that of Europe and Asia in many ways, and in other ways it did not. Archaeological findings suggest that the early Americans made comparable progress in technology, religion, and society to their counterparts elsewhere. The Americans built pyramid-shaped structures, worshipped sun gods, and made amazingly accurate calendars and astronomical observations. However, the Americans did not use the wheel, domesticate large animals, and were very much unable to resist the invading Spaniards, whom they outnumbered by many times. Ultimately, Native Americans, North and South, for all their impressive accomplishments, could not resist European conquest and domination. The Western Roman Empire had fallen into decline by 476 AD and had so been unable to extend its dominance into the desert regions of Arabia. The Eastern Roman Empire of Byzantium spent much of its energy in the 6th and 7th centuries fighting with the Persian Empire. Beginning in 610 AD, a man named Muhammad of the city of Mecca proclaimed a series of revelations. He claimed that there was only one God, Allah the Creator. By worshiping Allah and keeping His commandments, people could receive eternal life and escape the coming judgment. At first, Muhammad and his followers met much resistance from the rulers of Mecca, and they had to flee the city in 622. However, the new religion, called Islam, found many adherents, and Muhammad and his followers later returned and conquered Mecca. The new faith grew rapidly and became the driving force behind a new empire. The Islamic Empire was able to easily take control of many former Byzantine cities by permitting Christians and Jews to continue to practice their faith and receive protection as long as they paid a tax. The continent of Africa also saw the rise of varied and successful civilizations in antiquity. The vastness of the continent and differences in climate and geology caused many different kingdoms to emerge. In addition to the ancient Egyptians in the north, there was the kingdom of Ghana in the west, Ethiopia in the east, and Congo in the southwest, and Malawi in the south. The northern desert regions came to be dominated by the Arabs late in antiquity and so became strongholds of Islam. Christianity was introduced to Ethiopia as early as the 1st century AD, when the Christian New Testament records a servant of Queen Candace receiving baptism from Philip the Evangelist. As with North and South America, the continent of Africa held remarkably sophisticated civilizations until the arrival of European imperialism in the late medieval, early modern period. The final section of Module 3 will explore the Byzantine Empire, the eastern part of the Roman Empire. Headquartered in Constantinople, the Byzantines preserved classical Greek and Roman traditions during the Dark Ages, a time in which the Western Roman Empire was in decline and under the domination of others. Byzantium gave birth to Orthodox Christianity when their state church and that of Rome excommunicated each other in 1054. The schism effectively partitioned Christianity between the eastern and western hemispheres of the globe. Orthodoxy quickly spread throughout Eastern Europe and Asia, developing its own unique character, combining influences of Rome, Greece, and local cultures. Today, most nations of Eastern Europe have their own national Orthodox churches, which are also carried by their expatriates throughout the world.